Hello, friends. How are you? It's Ashwin. Hope you guys are having a great day. I wanted to bring you a new brand to my channel, and certainly a long-standing brand that has been around for quite a while in the higher-end men's shoe industry, but one that's maybe a little less appreciated as we all explore and get caught up in the latest and the greatest. This is a brand that is largely available in the United States. This is a brand named Bontoni. Bontoni is a Italian brand, actually a small production, a low volume production Italian brand focusing on at least partially handmade shoes coming out of Italy. So Bontoni has been around since 2004. And as I mentioned, have focused largely on the US market, but have stores and retailers that they sell through all over the world. I got interested because when I began my journey in shoes with Alan Edmonds, I made my way to Mario's here in Seattle, which focuses on higher end menswear. And they carried Bontoni, and I became fascinated with some of their using of stitch patterns. So for example, they have a number of shoes with this raised apron stitching or this raised skin stitching pattern. Some people call this a scar stitch, and you can see that this is a stitch done by hand based off of some of the markings that you see here, that those are produced by hand stitching and are considered part of the part and parcel for some of creating some of these designs. But you can see this is a very beautiful 3-eyelet derby that I actually was able to secure on the used market. I stripped it and then refinished it using Pure Polish products, some of my favorite products available. And you can see this beautiful almond-shaped last that they've used to make this shoe. The seam heel, pretty typical heel seam there. The side stitching, which is somewhat unique. And as I mentioned, this kind of unique raised apron stitch pattern that's done very, very cleanly and elegantly. You can see some of the elements there. I don't really need to tell you the details, but the dimpling, the hand stitched pattern there is very evident. Bontoni is also very well known for their patina work and some of the hand developed, hand done patinas using their crust leather, which is actually seemingly a very high quality leather. I was able to restore these from quite used, and they bounced back remarkably well. This particular pair is Goodyear welted with about a 7 to 8 stitch per inch density on the welt. They, on their website, talk about using Blake stitch, Goodyear stitch, and hand welting methods. I'm going to show you one other pair that I got from the used market that uses their Norwegian welting process. I think they do a pretty good job. To me, the real skill and the impression that was left was through some of their stitch work done on their uppers. For example, this, as I mentioned, they do a reverse skin stitch on a number of their styles, and that lends itself to a little bit more fashion forward style within the classic menswear environment. So this is the other pair that I actually also first got. This is a pair of their 2-eyelet derbies. The last model I showed you was their Carnera model. Well, this is their Carnera model, and this is done with a Goodyear welt. You can see the hand stitched 270-degree Goodyear welt there, and I'll try to show you this as I go around. Done reasonably well. I've seen more elegant, cleaner Goodyear Norwegian stitch. You can see, I think the Goodyear stitch was done to kind of fasten the upper to the lower there, the sole. And this was mounted on a gumlight sole, which is actually a very comfortable sole that I actually think fits this model quite well. This was sized in a US size 10. So one of the interesting things is Bontoni, unlike other European makers, uses US sizing. Some other features on this particular pair, some of the piping you can see on the edges there, that is well done. Just a very elegant, cleanly done shoe in this nice upper polo colored suede. Though I will say that most of the polo suede I've seen has been reverse polo, which is basically a full thickness upper calf. But I think this is a split suede. I mean, it seems a little lighter a little bit more prone to creasing when I'm wearing it, but it bounces back really well. It has a really nice nap, brushes out fantastic, and has a really rich color. So, every shoe has its compromises. Bontoni claims to take hundreds of steps to make each of their shoes, and they say that each shoe takes about 25 to 30 hours of work time. And as a result, they have a very small workshop that's only capable of producing around 2,000 to 2,100 pairs of shoes per year. So they, as I mentioned, have a smaller market share, but prefer to keep it that way. Here's their Carnera model again. This is done in the Goodyear welting, but they also use hand welted methodology. They use Blake stitching for some of their models. And as I mentioned, the Norwegian welt that you saw in their last pair. These shoes typically retail new for upwards of $1,000, ranging from $500 if you can find them used during sales to $1,500. I believe this model particular retails for around $1,300, as does the Carnera Derby. I'm going to put them both up just so you can see the comparison here rather than my face. Here they are, beautiful shoes. As I mentioned, 2 eyelet Derby on this side, 3 eyelet Derby, obviously different features. This is in a size 10, this is in a size 10.5. I'm a Brannock size 10, and I mainly use size 9, UK size 9, which is about a US size 10 for my dress shoes, but I found myself fitting this 10.5 more comfortably. This shoe, as I mentioned, comes with a single leather sole with a open channel stitch that I actually was, this was fairly worn out. So I had one of my local cobblers, Busy Shoes in Belltown. For those of you who have interest in good cobblers, Busy Shoes does a really nice job at restoring soles. So he applied a Vibram 2340 and a 5340 toppies to the soles, and it gives this a little cleaner look from my current usage patterns. But normally these would come with a sole that has this coloring as well as some black elements, but has an open channel stitch. And so for $1,000 to $1,500, I would prefer a closed channel stitch. And I think that they have upgraded some of their technologies, but the handwork done on these uppers, some of the stitching you can see done on the side, as I mentioned, the quality of the upper leather is quite nice. The stitching is very precise and cleanly done. And then the welting, at least on this pair, is very clean. You can see it takes a shine really well, and the patina is rather nice. I was able to kind of keep that after doing the cleaning. And similarly, as I mentioned, here is the pair that is the Derby pair with the Norwegian stitching, which I've seen certainly cleaner Norwegian stitches. I would think for the price, I would probably prefer to pick something like this up used at a discount, because nowadays the Norwegian stitching level of skill and craftsmanship has gone up for makers who are selling shoes at a lower price point, but it's still done quite well. These are very elegant designs. These are shoes that are really built to last. So that is Bontoni. Just wanted to give you that perspective. And I certainly hope that you have a nice day exploring these brands as much as I have. I'm always trying to find what is a reasonable deal and what is worth the price that you spend. I think that, for example, brands like Allen Edmonds, if you can find a used deal during one of their holiday sales or their second sales, is a good deal, but at their retail price, which is upwards of $400, you can find so much better. I would put Bontoni in that category. Some really, really lovely features, but I don't know that I would spend my own $1,000 to $1,500 on a new pair. I would rather seek this out on the used market at a lower price point, like I did for both of these pairs. Try to restore those pairs and have a really lovely shoe that would last you a lifetime. So very happy with this brand. Think it does a really good job in an increasingly competitive market. We'll see how they evolve, but certainly they have their place in terms of that fashion forward styling. And again, last view of the Carnera. Boom, 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 boom. Lovely almond shaped last there. Gives you a sense of this shoe. Truly, I think one of the more pretty shoes in my lineup, and certainly one that garners a lot of comments. And then their Carnera, their suede derby, great casual shoe, one that I can wear comfortably in the Pacific Northwest. That'll bounce back very, very well. both lovely shoes. And Bontoni is a brand worth thinking about. So I hope you're doing well. Have a good one. Okay. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day.